Hey man, say man, we live like Action News 5 from the studio. I'm here dolo solo today, and guess what? I'm about to let you all know what's really going on with pivoting from surviving to thriving. I want to lay out the foundation of this podcast, and I really want to enlighten and elaborate on how we came to being where we are with this podcast right now. So check this out. Peep game. Pay attention. Pay close attention. I'm fixing to walk you down memory lane, and I'm fixing to give you some insight about who I am and about who I was so that you can clearly understand the type of insight, the type of content that I'm going to be presenting on this podcast. A lot of people been talking about Memphis from the outside in. I'm fixing to talk about Memphis from the inside out. I'm fixing to shine the spotlight on stakeholders and individuals that's been just as impacted about individuals that have came back into society and are doing positive and productive things. Basically, they've become entrepreneurs. They're contributing to the ecosystem in an astronomical way. So check this out. Let's go on this ride and let me introduce myself to the world. Big Memphis. This is what we're talking about. The city of Memphis from the inside out. The streets is talking, not the news. The news has been chasing chaos. They've been chasing headlines. But guess what? They never come back to our community and talk about the healing that takes place. So I want to take you on this journey. I want you to sit back, get your popcorn, enjoy the ride, and I want you to ride with me as I take you through the journey of how I pivoted from surviving to thriving. Let me give you a little insight. A lot of times people get things misconstrued. So depending on what platform, what landscape you come across me in determines who I am and what my name is. If you meet me on Facebook, my name is Arthur Brian Tillman. And a lot of people get it twisted like Arthur is my first name. That's not my first name. That's a title. When I was stuck and trapped in the box in the belly of the beast, I wrote a book. I got out of prison. I self-published that book. And that was how I created some sustainable income in a positive and productive manner. So no, Arthur is not my first name. My first name is Brian. If you met me on the streets of Jackson, Tennessee, back in the Gap, Brian would have never came out. It would have always been Machiavelli. That was my alias. That was the name that I carried from day one to the last day that I stepped foot in Jackson, Tennessee. In my previous life in Jackson, I always had to utilize an alias because at that time I was a cocaine cowboy. So let's keep it moving. Let's shift the narrative, right? I made a lot of bad choices in my past, in my life. During those days of running cocaine in Jackson, Tennessee, my action, attitudes, and behavior eventually landed me in federal prison. I ended up with a conspiracy for manufacturing and delivering an excess of 5 kilograms of cocaine. Those bad choices cost me a lot of years of my life. I ended up doing a 12-year federal bid and had to finish the parole from a 15-year state bid. So long story short, man, I flattened a 27-year bid. So to a lot of you young brothers out there that's playing the game, I want you to understand one thing. Man, if you keep turning corners, man, you're going to eventually have an accident. And I know a lot of y'all saying, hey, man, I'm wise, I'm king, I'm slick, I'm fly. But check this out. Newsflash. Let me keep it a buck for a minute. It don't have to be a mistake that you made that get you jammed, that get you twisted. It could be somebody else's mistake that get you jammed and get you twisted. So big homie, OG, what does that look like? I'm glad you asked. Check this out. Another brother that's moving and shaking and moving, doing his thing, right? He get jammed. He get hit. Man, the reality is a lot of these dudes that y'all think solid, a lot of these dudes that y'all think gangsters, man, under pressure in the interrogating room, they not the same person on the inside that they was on the outside. Man, they gonna cut a deal. And the deal that they gonna cut is I come before you. They playing a game called a beat out, right? Man, these dudes ain't trying to leave them little tater tots out here, them little soft little young girls that they laying next to every night. They not gonna leave them out here in order, you know what I'm saying, to keep it a buck with you. Man, they gonna take that offer from the government and that bum that they got caught with, that they was supposed to be bringing it to you. Man, they ain't finna lay down and take their lick. Guess what? They finna bring that bum, they finna bring it on to you. You know what I'm saying? They finna jam you up. So now, you know what I'm saying, you've become the sacrificial lamb. That's how they playing the game now. You know, it ain't no honor amongst thieves no more. You know, individuals ain't, you know what I'm saying, they not playing fair no more. You know, ain't no such thing as talking about I'm gonna keep it real, I'm gonna take my lick, I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna do my number. Man, them days is over with. Them days is over with, little homie. Man, don't get it twisted. Man, don't be no fool and don't put your life in somebody else's hand. If these dudes get hit now, man, you gonna become the sacrificial lamb. You going down. Ain't no such thing as they hit. Nah, it's come on out, bruh. We hit. Real spit. I don't know no other way to put it. But feel me when I say this, right? It's an honor and a privilege right now to even be able to use my real government name, Brian Tillman, because it's been a lot of situations, right? It's been a lot of circumstances to where I wasn't even me. And I know you saying, bro, what you mean? That sounds weird, man. What kind of time you on? Well, in my previous life, right, my name was 17 450 076 29 48 17 51 57. Man, that's my county, my state, and my penitentiary number. Man, based upon a lot of the choices that I made in my past, man, my name didn't really mean nothing. I became a number. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't want to go down the same path and have to deal with the same circumstances, the same consequences that I had to deal with, my advice would be to you, man, change your actions, your attitude, and your behavior. Because the reality is, if you don't, let me tell you what it looks like. Imagine sitting in your bathroom with everything you own, your clothes, your food, taking a shower, using the bathroom with another man laying on top of you, urinating, defecate, passing gas, you know, stressing because he can't get on the phone and call and check on little mama. You know, when he do get on the phone, she ain't answering. That's the kind of situation that you're gonna be in. 3 hots in a cot through the slot. You laying in a 6x9 foot cell with another man with a rectangle cut in the middle of the door. They're gonna give you 2 boiled eggs, a bottle of water, an apple 3 times a day. You might get a shower once a week. That's just the reality. Like, for real, like, don't get it twisted. I need for you brothers to understand that, man, life is life and things is really, really real on the inside. I know y'all think y'all gangsters. I know y'all think y'all tough. Man, y'all out here shooting them big pistols, right? But let me explain something to you. Man, ain't no big guns when you get on that yard. And just FYI, what happened on the street, it don't end when you get off that bus to the penitentiary. It's just begin. It's an extension of what happened when you was out here. That little dude that you shot, that little dude that you killed, he got some uncles, he got some brothers, he got some cousins, he got some friends. Just let me let you know how it look, right? When you get off that bus and you walk around that yard shackled and handcuffed, a chain sheet was on a table just like this in the front of the penitentiary, in the front of the dorm. It's showing all inmate movement, exiting the penitentiary and entering the penitentiary. Every morning, convicts is gonna go and look at that list. They want to see who coming in. They looking for your name. When they see your name, they know that you coming in today, you getting off that bus, guess what? They already been on the compound with that butcher knife this long that looked like a lawnmower blade. That on the end of it got a hole drilled in it. He got a string on it. And he got that string tied around his forearm and got that butcher knife on his forearm up under that penitentiary jacket. When you get off that bus, you defenseless, you handcuffed, you shackled. What you think gonna happen? A lot of you young brothers, y'all out here on that foolishness. Y'all on bullshit, right? But the first thing y'all say is, y'all love y'all family. Y'all love y'all mama. Y'all love y'all daddy. Y'all love y'all sister. Y'all love y'all brother. That's buffoonery. No, you don't. Because the way the game go is, you can't tell me how to get my lick back. You kill my brother, you shot my partner, or we gang banging and you shot somebody in my organization and you in jail, right? Ain't no such thing as it's over, right? Because guess what's gonna happen? Man, I'm gonna knock on the door, right? Whoever answers the door, man, they gonna get it. That's the subliminal message, right? To let you know that what you did, because you on the inside, that don't mean that it don't affect. And it's not gonna be no consequences on the outside because you locked up. So how is it that you love your people when you left them out here to deal with the consequences behind your action? That ain't what real men do. But that's how y'all play the game, but that ain't how the game go. So I'm gonna walk y'all through what life looked like for me growing up, right? And I wanna basically enlighten y'all on how I got to this point that I'm at in life. And I assure you that, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be who I am and where I am, because the reality is I shoulda, coulda, you know what I'm saying, been dead and sleeping in my grave. And there's only two things and two words that I could say the reason why I'm not, mercy, grace, and but God. So let me show you and tell you who I once was. So at 10 years old, basically, I sold my first pack of cocaine, 2 10 dime powder packs in the Claiborne Home Housing Project. So basically where we lived, the driveway that we lived in was the track. So at an early age, man, I fell in love with instant gratification, because the reality is you only know what you've been exposed to. And what I was exposed to was dope pushers, boosters, robbers. I seen every negative attribute that you could possibly imagine as a child. I seen individuals that sold dope. I seen individuals that was boosting, playing credit cards, playing paper. Like, man, I seen it all. There wasn't no form of illegal activity that I wasn't exposed to as a child. What could possibly be expected of me but for me to be a hustler and for me to dive head first into the game with the exposure that I had had? At the end of the day, that was the beginning of a cycle that only God could end.